Some DNC mistake, this one is huge. Running a pathological lying candidate for president. One of the reasons why the rest of America did not vote for Hillary Clinton is because they see her as untrustworthy. The polls showed that the only person that can beat her in lying is Trump, and sometimes that was a back and forth thing. And Clinton has a history of flip-flopping like a dolphin, baby. Flip-flopping like those shoes you wear, them thongs that you wear to the beach. You know how they flop in the back? I mean, she flip-flopped like a fish falling out of a fish tank. You know, she has flip-flopped in so many issues. Now, there's such thing as a change of mind. But when you habitually have a viewpoint on this area and then you're flipping on it for the sake of votes or for the sake of being convenient with a certain demographic, that's just called a punk sucker. You know me, I told you straight out, I'm not 100% progressive. Most of the progressive values that I've seen on the platform, I do promote. There's some things that I'm still working on, but that's me and me alone. You can't convince me of that. I have to look at the pros and cons on that. For example, I'm a churchgoer and I believe a lot of stuff in scriptures, but I realize that we don't live in a theocracy. We live in a democracy. And because I'm a democratic person, we're in a democracy, the law of the land rules, not the law of scripture rule or the law of a king rule here. That is for your personal life. And hopefully it can take effect on somebody else's life that will motivate them to gravitate toward scripture or gravitate toward kingdomship like I do. So, you know, like for an example, nobody should be discriminated. I don't care for what reason. Nobody should bully. I don't care about for what reason. I mean, there's certain things that I am for and there's certain things I'm not for. I have some conservative values. I have a lot of progressive values. And sometimes I'm in the middle on some things. So I'm not 100% left, 100% right. I'm not even 100% in the middle. I'm just, I don't know how to explain to you. I'm a hybrid. That's just who I am. And I appreciate all sides, but I lean more toward the progressive side because of what it adds to the people, how it promotes people, how it encourages people. Now, let me get off that. DNC dumb mistake. Running a pathological liar for president. Here's my proof.
Will you say anything to get elected?
Well, actually, I have been very consistent over the course of my entire life. I have always fought for the same values and principles.
You know, I get accused of being kind of moderate and center. I plead guilty.
Just for the record, are you a progressive or are you a moderate?
I'm a progressive.
I did not email any classified material to anyone on my email. There is no classified materials.
I never sent or received any classified material. They are retroactively classifying it.
From the group of 30,000 emails returned to the State Department in 2014, 110 emails in 52 email chains have been determined by the owning agency to contain classified information at the time they were sent or received.
I have absolute confidence that everything that could be in any way connected to work is now in the possession of the State Department.
The FBI also discovered several thousand work-related emails that were not among the group of 30,000 emails returned by Secretary Clinton to State in 2014.
By the way, you may have seen that I recently launched a Snapchat account. I love it. I love it. Those messages disappear all by themselves.
None of these emails should have been on any kind of unclassified system. They were extremely careless in their handling of very sensitive, highly classified information.
This pile represents the emails that you sent or received about Libya in 2011, from February through December of 2011. This pile represents the emails you sent or received from early 2012 until the day of the attack. There are 795 emails in this pile. We've counted them. There are 67 emails in this pile in 2012. And I'm troubled by what I see here. I can only conclude by your own records that there was a lack of interest in Libya in 2012.
Do you change your political identity based on who you're talking to?
No.
When you talk to the public, you say, I turned over everything.
90 to 95% of my work-related emails were in the state system. If they wanted to see them, they would certainly have been able to do so.
You know what? That is maybe the 10th time you have cited that figure today.
It is.
And I have not heard anyone other than you ever cite that figure. Who told you that 90 to 95% of your emails were in the State Department system? Who told you that?
We learned that from the State Department in their analysis of the emails that were already on the system.
The Inspector General report found that less than 1% of State Department emails, record emails, were captured. So they give a number of less than 1%, and you give a number of 90%.
The server contains personal communications from my husband and me.
Only time I got on the internet, I did 2 emails, and I ordered Christmas presents from a reservation.
Looking back, it would have been better for me to use 2 separate phones and 2 email accounts. I thought using one device would be simpler, and obviously it hasn't worked out that. All my grandparents, came over here, and
turns out only 1 was an immigrant, 3 were not.
Hillary Clinton's attempt to tout her foreign policy experience hounded her again on the campaign trail today.
I made a mistake in describing it.
She claimed she misspoke last week and was sleep deprived when she described landing under sniper fire in Tuzla, Bosnia, something that didn't happen. But CBS News has found several times in the past few months when Senator Clinton used the Bosnia trip to try to show her international experience. December in Iowa.
We landed in one of those corkscrew landings and ran out because they said there might be sniper fire. I don't remember anybody offering me tea on the tarmac when that was happening.
Then in February,
the welcoming ceremony had to be moved inside because of sniper fire.
And last week.
I remember landing under sniper fire. We basically were told to run to our cars. Now that is what happened.
Some differing accounts of your trip to Bosnia, and I'm wondering if you can clarify. I know you recall, ducking under sniper fire, and Sinbad in his account, who's on the trip, he said that the most dangerous part was remembering where he was going to eat next.
He's a comedian, Jeff. He's a comedian.
So you actually recall, hearing gunfire, and were you
when we were flying into Bosnia, we came in a evasive maneuver. There was no greeting ceremony. And we basically were told to run to our cars. Now, that is what happened.
After CBS News video showed what really happened when she landed and greeted officials, Senator Clinton maintained there were risks, but explained to the Philadelphia Daily News why she was seen on the Bosnian tarmac greeting a young child if it was really so dangerous.
I was also told that the greeting ceremony had been moved away from the tarmac, but that there was this 8-year-old girl, and I said, well, I can't rush by her. I've got to at least greet her. So I greeted her, I took her stuff, and I left. Now that's my memory of it.
Good to see you. Once again, her memory doesn't match our videotape. She and her daughter Chelsea lingered on the tarmac to greet U.S. military officials. Took photos. There was the group of 7th graders on the tarmac too. And then Senator Clinton walked to the armored vehicle where she did eventually duck and enter.
Some have sought to justify this vicious behavior along with the protest that took place at our embassy in Cairo yesterday as a response to inflammatory material posted on the internet. I also want to take a moment to address the video circulating on the internet that has led to these protests in a number of countries. We've seen rage and violence directed at American embassies over an awful internet video that we had nothing to do with.
Within 24 hours, you had a conversation with the Egyptian Prime Minister. You told him this: we know the attack in Libya had nothing to do with the film. It was a planned attack, not a protest.
That's why I'm the only candidate from the very beginning of this campaign who had a plan
to help us revitalize coal country.
We're going to put a lot of coal miners and coal companies out of business.
It was one of the highlights of President Clinton's first term, passage of the North American Free Trade Agreement, also known as NAFTA. Critics blame NAFTA for the loss of manufacturing jobs in industrial states, including Ohio and Pennsylvania. Hillary Clinton helped get NAFTA approved. She held at least 5 meetings to strategize about how to win congressional approval. She helped the White House block opposition from labor and environmental groups, and she was the featured speaker at a crucial meeting. Participants in that event said, quote, her remarks were totally pro-NAFTA. There was no equivocation for her support for NAFTA at the time.
I have been a critic of NAFTA from the very beginning.
My concerns about NAFTA expressed years ago have been well documented and verified.
I didn't have a public position on it.
I have spoken consistently against NAFTA.
And if you look at what I have been saying, it has been consistent.
I have been consistent.
You can go back and look at from the very beginning.
I was one of the voices in the administration warning about NAFTA.
You said it was good on balance for New York and America in 2004, and now you're in Ohio, and your words are much different, Senator. The record is very clear.
Well, you don't have all the records, because you can go back and look at what I've said consistently.
Oh, I think that everybody is in favor of free and fair trade, and I think that NAFTA is proving its worth.
I think on balance, NAFTA has been good for New York and America.
Was NAFTA a mistake?
NAFTA was a mistake to the extent that it did not deliver on what we had hoped it would.
Was there a Secretary of State with the so-called line in the sand, which...
No, I wasn't. I was gone. I hate to interrupt you.
What's the truth? We rated her statement mostly false. She has a technical point that she was no longer part of the administration when the White House determined Assad had crossed the red line and used chemical weapons. But she actually did meet with White House officials, and she endorsed the policy. So she's really spinning the facts here.
I'ma keep on lying to you. Yeah. Until you think it's the truth.
Yeah. Like I said, whenever you run a consistent liar, and that's why running Hillary Clinton in 2016 was a bad idea. I don't care what kind of qualifications she so-called have. I don't care what kind of experience she so-called have. From what I know, they all have been failure experience. She failed as Secretary of State. That's why she couldn't do another 8 years, another 4 years, and she wasn't going to do it 4 years because she only want to use those years to put a notch on her belt to fool you into thinking that she is more qualified. She failed at that. She failed the state senator of New York. She only did like 2 good things, which was obvious. She ran in a place where she was going to dominate anyway. She didn't have no real challenger in those areas. I mean, the only challenger that could have challenged her was John F. Kennedy Jr., which died in a freak accident in a plane crash, or some other Kennedy. So she had no competition. So just because she had these years as state senator, just because she had these years as Secretary of State, all during those years she piled up these lies. She piled up these flip-flops. So here's another dumb DNC mistake in 2016 that bet not happen in 2018, or you will lose again. Is putting in place to run for office a pathological liar. Don't do it again, because if you do it again, people are not going to vote for her because they are him, because nobody wants to put in office anymore. More liars. More liars. Anyway, I'm Bob TV, baby. Don't put pathological liars in offices. People don't want that no more, and they're going to vote against it. I've warned you, don't do it.